Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we decode the secrets hidden within corporate filings. And today we are looking at a report that gives us a peek into the financials of KKR Infrastructure Conglomerate LLC. And let me tell you, some of these numbers are quite fascinating and might just change how you see certain investments. So stick around. Before we dive in, hitting that subscribe button is the first step to not missing out on these insights. And if you want to chat with fellow enthusiasts about these filings, join our Discord community, linked in the description below. It's a great place to share your thoughts and learn more. Alright, so KKR Infrastructure Conglomerate LLC, what are they telling us on the 21st of October 2025? Well, it looks like they are reporting the net asset value of their shares. Think of this as the price at which you can buy or sell your stake in the company on a specific date. And this report tells us that value as of the 30th of September 2025. So what exactly is this transactional net asset value? It's the price that determines how much money you get back if you decide to sell your shares, or how much you have to pay to buy new ones. It's a crucial number for investors because it directly reflects the underlying value of the company's assets, holdings, and investments at a given moment. Now let's get into the numbers for different classes of shares. Take for example Class U shares, their transactional net asset value per S-share was $29.61. Then we have Class R shares valued slightly higher at $29.63. These small differences might seem minor, but they can add up depending on how many shares you own or plan to trade. We also see Class RD shares at $29.61, similar to Class U, and Class D shares also at that same value. It looks like there is a cluster of share classes near that $29.60 mark. These are likely different investment options designed for different types of investors or with slightly different fee structures and benefits. But then things start to change. Look at Class G shares, their transactional net asset value per S-share jumps to $33.87. That's a noticeable step up compared to the other classes we've seen. And then we have Class H shares just a hair below at $33.86. This suggests these classes might represent investments in different types of underlying assets within KKR's infrastructure portfolio, which could have performed differently. Interestingly, Classes E and F shares are both sitting at $31.02. This consistency might indicate they share similar investment profiles or are managed under a similar strategy. The value here is higher than the first group of shares, but lower than the Class G and H shares. And then there are Class S shares with a transactional net asset value per S-share of $29.65. This places them just slightly above the majority of the lower valued classes. It's a complex structure with different entry points and potential returns depending on which class of shares an investor chooses. One small but noted detail is that no Class R shares were outstanding as of the 30th of September 2025. This means that particular category of shares had no owners at that point in time. Perhaps they were recently created or phased out. Now, the report also points us to Exhibit 99.1 for more details, including a comparison of this transactional net asset value from the 30th of June 2025. This is where the real story often lies. By comparing the net asset values from June to September, we can see how the company's investments have performed over that quarter. If some share classes have seen their values increase significantly while others have stayed flat or even decreased, it tells us a lot about where the company is putting its money and how those investments are faring in the market. So what is the takeaway here? KKR Infrastructure Conglomerate LLC is being transparent about the value of its different share classes. This is standard practice, but it's always good to see these numbers published. The variation in transactional net asset value across different share classes highlights the diverse nature of their infrastructure investments. Some classes are clearly valued higher than others, suggesting different underlying assets or strategies. For investors, this means it is essential to understand which class of shares aligns with your risk tolerance and investment goals. A higher transactional net asset value per S-share doesn't automatically mean a better investment. It means that particular slice of the company's portfolio is currently valued higher. The real insight comes from looking at the trends over time, as mentioned with the comparison to the June figures. Are these values growing, shrinking, or staying stable? What are KKR's infrastructure investments doing in the broader economic climate? Without seeing the actual performance data from June to September within this specific filing, we can only infer potential performance based on the values reported today. However, the fact that they are providing this data allows us diligent researchers to do our own digging and find those trends. Looking at this report, it seems KKR Infrastructure Conglomerate is presenting a snapshot of its value per share for various investment classes. This is the fundamental information for investors deciding whether to buy, sell, or hold. The key is to remember that these net asset values are dynamic and can fluctuate based on market conditions, the performance of underlying infrastructure projects, and overall economic factors. The decision to invest in any of these classes would require a deeper dive into the specific assets held by each class and KKR's overall investment strategy for its infrastructure portfolio. For now, know that KKR is keeping its investors informed about the current valuation of their stake. Alright, that is our breakdown of KKR Infrastructure Conglomerate LLC's latest filing. What is your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company's future? Do you invest in infrastructure funds and what do you look for? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives into the world of corporate finance. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description for more discussions. Thanks for watching. See you next time.